I forgot the smooth jazz.
Oh my gosh. Oh, don't ya know? What is wrong with my television?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring things out. What's up, Percy, over on YouTube? YouTube? TikTok. TikTok, say hi to YouTube. Welcome. Appreciate it, Percy. Usually I'm live from my shop, my home base of AuxAuto, which is the name of my YouTube and my TikTok. AuxAuto is a 501c3 nonprofit in the state of Tennessee. I provide financial mechanical assistance to people that depend on their transportation for a living. I basically pay the shop bills for people that can't afford to make their vehicle safe or operational. And I come on here and I try to promote it and I talk about stuff, car stuff, life stuff. I talk about anything on here. I basically promote it. I got TikTok on one device and I got YouTube on another one, and that's why I'm here. That's my whole purpose. What's up, Gina? You know what time it is. Percy over on YouTube, I'm usually at my shop and I got a couple of old cars that I work on. Out there, I kind of showcase some of the vehicles that I have. One of them is this 1969 Charger in the background, but this was the car back in 1997 before it got redone. Got a couple of B bodies. I got a Plymouth Roadrunner and a Charger. This is back when the video back there was heavily influenced by Dennis Gage. Dennis Gage and My Classic Car, if anybody remembers that show. The guy with the mustache. Oh yeah, it's a. I miss the reason for the story. Gina on YouTube. What is the quote of the day? The quote of the day is, don't take a laxative and a sleeping pill. I guess that's the advice of the day. Dang, Mason. You can hang out for a while if you want. Oh, okay, I get it. I had made a video of that story because I didn't really think about it too much. Even when I got back into working on cars in 2019 or 20, I really didn't think about those Chargers until my kid found a picture of the 68 Chargers that I sold in 2003 for $3,500. But I kind of got like physically ill thinking about it. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. That would be, that's very painful. This video back here was filmed on like high 8 VHS tape, as you can probably tell. But usually when I'm live, I'm at my shop, and that same car is in the background. It looks a little bit different, but that's what it used to look like with the black hood scoops and the vinyl top on it. I got a haircut today. We're looking good, you know what I'm saying? Huh? No? Okay. Got my hair did, got my wheels shined. Yes, that's right, Gina, very dapper. Of course it is. Now I just need a cigarette and a suit to go with it. Maybe a lucky strike. Brother, how was your day over on YouTube? It's fantastic so far. I figured I'd come on live for a little bit. I'm not at the shop, obviously. I'm up at the house. Oh, that was one thing, because I got another payout from TikTok. And it's not much. So far on TikTok Live, since I've been doing this for a couple months, I've made $100. And but how cool would that be in like 6 months if I've made enough money to do an AuxAuto assist, fully funded by social media money? That's kind of the intent here. AuxAuto being an automotive nonprofit that provides financial mechanical assistance to people that depend on their transportation for a living. So how cool would it be as a nonprofit to pay for one of these AuxAuto assists 100% with money I made from TikTok? I think that would be awesome. It'll be monumental, and it's gonna happen. I just don't know when it's gonna happen. I also made a little investment into Gene. I don't know if you remember John Tack. I always call him. Sometimes he comes in here. We were talking about some mic stuff because one of the last video I made on that I put on YouTube, I was trying to get better exhaust notes from some of these old cars that I drive and the projects that I have, which you've seen. And he ended up pulling the throttle, I should say, on some DJI mics, and then it encouraged me to do the same. So I'm hoping they won't come in until after this weekend. But I think I might be able to get some pretty cool audio. I'm a bit of an audiophile. What's up, Viv, over on YouTube? And brother, how'd you like Wicked? Gina, you know how we were watching that video? I think the first 2 tries made it sound like who? Which one? Which one? The long one or the short? Yeah, so that's part of the problem. So that microphone that I'm using, it is from back in the music days, but it's like a $500 microphone. And it's yeah, so it's not cheap, but it's very sensitive, and it's a powered microphone. So it picks up a lot of ambient noises. So a lot of those sounds that you're getting, even when it's pointed at the back of the car, a lot of those sounds you're getting are from the front of it. So it's even picking up some of the note from, the combustion in the chamber. And it's really hard to isolate that stuff unless you're in like a sound studio and you've almost got the front of the engine separate from the back of it. But I think so I've recorded some exhaust notes with a cheaper microphone, and I had it basically pointed right at the exhaust, and it didn't get a lot of the ambient noise, which is also kind of interesting. Yeah, and even I was I think it was about a yard from the source. But even usually, like in audio recording, you usually get like right on it. Like if you're recording drums, you basically the microphone will sit right on the drum, so it only picks that up. But that's another thing I got to work on, because you're picking up a lot of the room noise, and I had a baffle behind the car, but you're also picking up all of the sound waves that are bouncing off the square walls. But that was kind of like I would also like, and I probably will make another video where I'm doing like the microphone right on the exhaust, 2 feet away, 3 feet away. A couple of microphones. There's a microphone technique where you take 2 microphones and you put them together. It's called an XY. And it takes like, it records like 2 different fields of audio and puts it together. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that I can do with it. What's up, Bear Paw? I hear you are feeling a little under the weather about a car you should have bought. Oh, what's up, EW? But anyway, so I always buy like cheap microphones. I have a bunch of those lavalier ones that are cheap. But I think with the DJI ones, I'm kind of excited to see how they turn out. Yeah, I tell you what, that whole story about that car, Bear Paw, it was I sold those 2 1968 Chargers for $3,500, and I think it was 2003 actually. And I sold them to buy a wedding ring for this young lady who ended up marrying my roommate. So that kind of turned into a disaster. It really wasn't. They are still friends of mine, and they're great. They're doing great in life. But it wasn't until about 2019 or 20 that my kid found a picture of those 2 cars. And she's like, oh, look at this old, you know how when pictures used to come in the little envelope, from Kodak, it was yellow and black, and they had all the pictures in there, and you had the negative that they would send back to you back in the day. And she found those at my ex-in-law's house, and she showed them to me, and I literally physically got sick to my stomach, because at the time my kid was probably 15, and we're looking at like future plans, and I'm like, these two cars, if I hung on to them like I do everything else that I hang on to, all this other junk that I have, the 2 things that I sold that had the most value, I could have paid for her whole college tuition with those 2 cars if I hung on to them, but I didn't. So I felt like it was a bad investment. I felt like a bad father. And then I wanted those 2 cars, because even around that time I was looking for another project car, because I still have a 69 Charger. This is it back here. This was the era that I had those other 2 68s. This is like 1997. And that's the 69 that I still have. And if I just parked him somewhere, put him in the basement, didn't sell him, I'd probably be in a different stratosphere. Not really, but it would really have, helped out in the whole future plans of the world. That's the only sad car story I got, aside from my parents selling my first car, which was a 1990 Suburban. And I'm still trying to track it down. I actually had I have still a cash reward out for, if anybody has any information to get me in touch with somebody that owns it, if it still exists. High Life, do you work for Stranger Things or are you just a fan? I'll tell you why I started watching that show. I get into a little bit of sci-fi, but I'm more into like time travel and robotics in the sci-fi world. So when that show came out, I was like, oh, that's cool. Another one. It'll be interesting. But the time period that it was set in is where I grew up. So I was like, I'll give it a shot, because I had a friend that was an extra in that in the movie really early on. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And all of this stuff that's in there, including like the carpet that was in the basement of the rug, like the brown and red rug, was all stuff from my childhood. So I became a huge fan of Stranger Things, but only because of the set design and the people that made it look like the era that I grew up in. No, Gina, somebody came in here and said that they saw it. I didn't. I still have those wheels on that car too. They're center lines. Heck yeah, Bear Paw. Oh, no kidding. Gina, Bear Paw, and Moore's Garage. I got his stickers on one of the... I sit on a seat from a 1969 Chrysler Newport in the shop when I do lives from the shop. I basically just come on here and try to get attention and promote my automotive nonprofit. One day, hopefully very soon, I can do my first actual AuxAuto assist, where I pay the shop bill for somebody who can't afford to make their vehicle safe or operational with money that I made from social media. Steve over on YouTube, 68 Mustang convertible. He had both of those cars, 60 Mustang convertible and a 60s Chrysler convertible. I'm guessing he sold them. That's sad. When those mics come in, Gina, I'm probably going to make some more videos. I'll probably use those when I'm live so I don't sound so nasally. That way when I talk, it sounds a lot more like I'm on a radio station like WAUX, listening to smooth jazz all night long, promoting my automotive nonprofit, AuxAuto. Oh, and I thought it would be cool to try to attach one of those mics to the drone. But how bad would that be if I came in live every single time and I started talking like this? My goodness, I would annoy myself. I'm also a big fan of those old radio shows on Sirius XM 148 Radio Classics. I tell you, you come in here and you look at some cars and I show you some stuff that I got over here and I'm trying to promote an automotive nonprofit. What do you see? Say, I got to talk real fast and got to sound like I'm from New Jersey. And I got to say, see a lot, see? See? Oh, what was the... No, that was the That was the TikTok one. Here, actually, let's while I got you here, smooth jazz. So it's always a work in progress, I guess. You try things that don't work, and then you try things that do work. Like, for instance, I just made this video where Gina, I think you saw it, where I was playing drums in the charger. And I posted that on my personal Facebook page, and then I was looking at the analytics because I kind of geek out on some of that stuff, because you find out who watches videos, when they're on, their demographics and stuff like that. And it's really, honestly, kind of interesting. But I noticed that on that video, the average watch time was about 7 seconds, even though the video was only 20 seconds. But the first 7 seconds were, me doing the stupid bit about going to the, what did I call it? The Tough and Stuff men's decor. But anyway, the first 7 seconds, you don't even get to see me playing music in the charger. And I think I lost kind of an audience. So I actually reposted that just kind of as an experiment, to where it's got me playing the drums a little bit earlier in it to try to capture that 7 second window. But anyway, I find that stuff kind of interesting. But early on in the whole AuxAuto thing, my intention was to make these long form videos of me fixing cars. And this was one of them. Probably the last one that I did, where it kind of goes from finding out somebody that needs some assistance and then going through the process of fixing the car. But it doesn't, I think in the social media world, it doesn't really, people don't really latch on to like social issues unless you really exploit the you really exploit the unfortunate circumstances of other people. And I don't really want to do that. So this didn't work. Although in this video, the reward for me fixing this car was getting to drive a 1981 DeLorean, which is pretty cool. So kind of what I've transitioned into was kind of doing a lot of live stuff and just talking about random things and talking about the nonprofit, and making videos on some of the projects that I have, and then throwing the AuxAuto assists in those videos. So interesting, I'm sure. I'm blowing your mind right now. But here's an example of it. Perfect example. So this video right here, this is part of a long form video. And I made this, and if you watch it for a minute, it looks like I'm just driving down the road and not paying any attention. In this piece here, I'm talking about AuxAuto. And I made this on a short. I think it was Facebook. I posted the short of this on a Facebook. And there were so many people that commented on it, and a lot of people hated on it because they said that, I'm a disgrace and I'm so dangerous. But literally, this video is me sitting in the 1969 Roadrunner with a TV behind me that is a video of driving. But it got so many views. I was like, maybe I should kind of change my format a little bit and just make these videos. And so far, like I said, I've made $100, which is cool, especially doing these live things. So anyway, it's always it's an evolving process, but I thought it was kind of interesting. But this is great, because people were talking about the loose steering in the car, and people were talking about me being unsafe, and like this guy doesn't know how to drive, and I don't know, it was pretty funny. And I think towards the end of it, I actually showed a picture of the setup that I was using, so people didn't really think I was being unsafe. But this truck right here belonged to a lady who knew a friend of mine, and he got in touch with me, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I think I've got this perfect situation." He kind of told me about her situation, and this truck was in such bad shape. But anyway, I took it to a shop, and the shop found out about the whole thing being a nonprofit and me trying to fix cars for other people. So he cut me a break on a lot of things. Plus, being a nonprofit, a 501c3 in the state of Tennessee, I can pay for these things tax-free, which also helps save money. And this was also the video where I decided I shouldn't drive these cars. So I haul them everywhere. Because if they don't have insurance and their car breaks because they're not in the best shape, that's what I'm doing, is trying to fix them. It's kind of on me, and that's not a good thing. So again, learning process. The person that introduced me to the owner of this truck actually works at an auto museum that's pretty big here in Nashville. Oh yeah. So this is where in the video I'm talking about me and that friend of mine. I've known him for a long time, but we've got this big fascination with old movies and 80s nostalgia. And he ended up buying a DeLorean. So after this whole AuxAuto Assist, I think this was like 12 or 13. I've done 15 of them. He's like, as a reward for this, I want you to drive my DeLorean. And I was like, dude, that is the best. So anyway, part of the video at the end of it was the whole DeLorean thing. Van Gogh, Bear Paw, Gina, Moore's Garage, EWK, Meow. There's not a lot of room in those DeLoreans either. This is I finally made it to the circle. The last circle I was in was country music, and I'm not in that circle anymore. Oh, and Evander, yeah. It's also kind of funny because I got so motivated to do these live things because you really got to kind of think on your toes, especially when you get people that are just kind of haters. And which it's funny, and Gina knows this, or anybody that's been in here, when I'm at the shop, the way that I have it set up and the phone that I'm using, sometimes it literally and honestly looks like a green screen because it kind of focuses on the foreground and not so much the background. So you get people that come in there and they're like, oh, this is a green screen, you're a faker, you're a fraud. And I'll be like, hold on. Like, I'll explain it to you, but here's the deal. This is what I'm doing, and I'll explain my automotive nonprofit. I'm literally trying to make it possible for people that are trying to be successful so they can get to their jobs, they can get to school, they can get to their medical appointments. I'm like, if you follow along, I'll go touch one of the cars, which sometimes is a little awkward depending on how I touch it. But I'll prove it to them, and then they'll follow along, and they'll be like, okay, well, it looks fake. But it'll give me a chance to explain my piece and what I'm doing. Hey, yeah, John Tack, there he is. That's the guy that's making me spend hundreds of dollars on microphones. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Yeah, there we go. Everything looks right. Yeah, John Tack convinced me to get some DJI mics. Oh, okay. So that whole piece that I was talking about where the video of me not really driving but driving, at the end of this video, this is where I was talking about it. So I think I said something about that's just like another one of my videos in the back, and I'm explaining that I wasn't really driving. It was just a video. So I had just this little setup right here with a TV camera. But it worked because a lot of people thought it was real. Let's go way back. This was my second hoopty cross race with the 88 Fifth Avenue. I found this. No, hold on. Hold on. This was the first one. I had a friend donate a, I don't even know what year it was, but it was a Saturn that was sitting in his, just sitting in his front yard. And he's a friend of mine. And then once I started this thing, he's like, I'll give you this thing, man. It doesn't run. So he gave it to me. I sprayed the AuxAuto on it, and I went up to a hoopty cross race up in Indiana. And it was a 2-mile race. And this car lasted 1 mile. And the transmission blew out. It was Le Mans. It was Le Mans, by God. I found this Hoopty Cross series, and it's basically you find like a $500 car and you outfit it so you can race. And it's fun. They keep time trial. They used to do it. They don't do it anymore. But man, I've just met some cool people on this thing. But I was using it as a way to kind of promote AuxAuto. And one of the people I met through that was Jason Alstock, and at Holly Mo Party this last year, he raced one of the vans against Derek from Vice Grip. But man, it was so much fun. And then I ended up breaking that transmission. I gave this car to a guy. I posted it on Facebook. This was in the when did this video come out? It was 4 years ago. And I posted this car for free, and somebody got a hold of me, and they raced little 4-cylinders that had the same engines as those things. So I gave it to them, and then went down to Atlanta and picked up the 88 Fifth Avenue. And I think this was the first hoopty cross race that I did with the 88. This is the one that's in front of Auxland shop that has since been, the body's been warped because I jumped it. And my kid jumped it too, which was great. Yeah, Bear Paw, thanks for coming and hanging out. Like I'll do lives every now and again. I don't expect anybody to stay the whole time that I do it, but I appreciate you being here. You being here supports the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get a lot of people to follow and support and subscribe and follow along, and hopefully one day those turn into a way to pay for these AuxAuto assists, and then I kind of showcase some of the things that I'm doing, some of the stuff that I got going on. But I do appreciate it. Oh, the man. Hey, Gina's the number. Gina's the brawler. I think she came in early on. Early on. Yeah, now I have a cowboy hat on, Sam. I just got a dadgum cowboy hat and a mustache. This was up in Sturgis, Michigan, at a like a 300 or 400 acre 4-wheel drive park. You're all the light. Hey, that's all good. Thanksgiving. I think what I'm going to be doing tomorrow celebrating Thanksgiving is sleeping. Yeah, there's a Sturgis up in Michigan. There's also a Nashville, Michigan. It's kind of nostalgic. I made this video of the Auxland complex. There is a Detroit, Michigan. Brappen, where Michigan? Where are you at in Michigan? Escanaba. Who's in Escanaba? That's way up there in the UP. You know what the capital of Michigan is? Speaking of Detroit. Dang, Gina, I know Escanaba. Are you in the UP? Or like south of it in the top of the mitten? John Tech, are you Michigan? Oh, that's wild. I got a friend that's a trooper up there in Escanaba. Better go the speed limit. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I thought you were up at... I'm an idiot. I don't remember things. I can't read words. I don't retain information. I can't remember what I just talked about earlier. Yeah, that's right, because what's his name is pretty close too. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, I forgot. This wasn't long after I bought Auxland, and I had still, that's what that memorabilia room looks like, but I had to take all the walls off of there. Gina, probably because you're all outrunning them up there. Yeah, well, actually, that's normal. I'm just sans facial hair right now. That's right, Gina. They don't even try anymore. They just say, oh, it's Gina. She good. Oh, look, that's a 74. I got a tractor parked in that little section now. That's the 74 New Yorker. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, John Tech. I would just like to not have to wake up earlier and do that anymore. But I mean, I don't. I did it for a funeral, but I don't want to. Not every day. Not this guy. There's like an AI suggestion thing of stuff to talk about, which is kind of funny because it says things that we were talking about like about 10 minutes ago. Talk about race stories. What's up, Don? I'm great. Welcome back here. I remember your name. I think you've been in here before. I did try that once, and I actually had to, I mean, that wasn't a handlebar, but it was twisted out. Whoop, because I got some of that waxy stuff. So when I went somewhere, like I don't really eat fast food, but if I went to a place to order something, I'd let me think about it, and I'd twizzle my little stash. I used to do that. So a long time ago, I used to play music for a living, and we were on the road a lot. And sometimes we'd go into a place and just start. It's like to get a. Is it? I'd like to get a Subway sandwich there, and they'd be like, okay, because we were all had long hair and I had different hats on and crazy shirts and. I just talk to people like this, and I'd say a little bit, and they wouldn't really understand what I'm saying. And they'd be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I was born in Georgia." You come in there and you talk to him like this, and I want to get the Subway sandwich. Give me all the I want all the stuff on the stuff on there. I'm like, "Oh, are you from here?" No, I was born in Georgia. Yeah, I was doing the laundry. That's it. Get to the hopper. Get to the hopper now. Get out of here. Oh, that's the music room right there. With all the walls off of the... It's not a tumor. That's what it looked like originally. And then I completely stripped it out and replaced all the insulation. And I tried to do a live in there one time, but the wireless didn't reach. All right, the man. It's weird watching me watch you watch me. Yeah, a lot of critters got in there. That's why I had to replace all the insulation. It was a daunting task. I think there's a picture of me in a hazmat suit. There it is. Head to toe, sealed up. That's the place, though, that I call Auxland. That's the home base for AuxAuto, the automotive nonprofit that provides financial mechanical assistance to people that depend on their transportation for a living. I basically pay the shop bills for people that can't afford to make their vehicle safe or operational. And I come in here and I try to promote it, showcase some of the things that I'm working on, including this property, along with the cars and the projects that I'm doing, just to get people to follow along. And hopefully one day all those follows turn into a way to pay for these AuxAuto assists. This Chevy is bananas. This is the place that I usually am live from, but this is a separate building. Oh, look at these cool glasses. I wear sunglasses. But this is the place that is Auxland. That's where AuxAuto is based out of. Matter of fact, if I remember right, the ending of this video is the shop. I think. You might recognize it, but this was, oh man, this was 4 years ago now. It took me 40 years to find a place. Yeah, no, okay. That's the implement shed. That's the one that's got the yellow car in it. All of those bags right there, there was probably 120 55-gallon trash bags that I filled up with all the insulation that I pulled out of that building and then had to replace it. That's what I'm saying right there. That was when in the full hazmat suit. No, it was built after. The shop was built before, but the 3-story was built in 2008. So I mean, the place has aged. It's got its issues. Some things are broken. There's holes. I got a leak in the shop. I mean, it's got its issues, but they're now my issues. My daughter actually said that one time because I was complaining about having to fix something. And she said, you know, Dad, I've known you for a little bit. And I've known what your goals and your aspirations are. And you may complain about having to fix all the little things at the property. But at the end of the day, you have a property that has little things that have to be fixed. 100%. You're right. Everything that goes wrong out there, it's just another opportunity to learn something else about plumbing, structural stuff, replacing doors or windows, or figuring out an AC unit. And that's the shop that I'm usually live in. It's the same one, but this was 4 years ago. I think I had the Mustang in there. Gene, just at night, yeah. I'll sleep at night through Thanksgiving. Okay, Kate, what is that, a snail? Oh, so this wasn't 4 years ago because I didn't have the Roadrunner 4 years ago. Oh, I gotta show you something else. So before I got the shop, before I got Auxland, I don't know what I'm doing here. I guess I went back too far. That's the Charger under the tarp right there. That's the Mustang I had in here for a little bit. And I think I was talking about this right here, about how some of us, all of us car people, like to just have a place. But this was me unloading the 1973 440 from an RV into my little garage where I'd basically refreshed that engine. This one right here is the 440 from the 69 Imperial. But that's the space that I had before Auxland. So I went from a 14 by 24 garage to a, I don't know, 15-acre property and a shop. Am I not close enough to the TV? I even had to build a second level to it. But anyway, that's what I was talking about. Gina, it was small. And look at that. Oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. I think the 68 300 I had parked in there. I think there was a little a snippet of it. Get ready. Basically, the garage could really only fit one car in it. Same toolboxes. I had to build a second level. This is how much clearance I had for the 68. And anytime I worked on that car, I had to pull it out and pull it back in. That was the 88. This is how much room that I had to work on the dang things in there. That was my parents' house. That's where I used to have all the cars until they're like, dude, get off our property. That was the basement. I took over there. My parents are great. I love my parents. But I basically took over their garage and their basement. When I redid the engine and the charger, I had to take all of this stuff from my parents' house, put it in my garage, rebuild this engine, load everything back up, all the tools, the engine, and take it back to my parents' house. I think that's what I was explaining to this, but this is the Black Sheep engine that's in the charger right now. I had to load everything back up, haul it an hour and a half. This is my parents' garage. I had to set everything back up and then put the engine in the charger. Check out that carburetor. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's the 69 Newport. That's where the bench seat came out of when I'm live on out of the shop. And this is great. I forgot about this, but I didn't. That was the letter that I got from the city that said I can't have junk cars, and it really kind of pushed me into a position of uncomfortableness where I took a chance and a risk and ended up buying this place when it was really kind of like not financially feasible. But I did it anyway, just because I mean, you're either going to succeed or you're going to fail. So we just did it. Yeah, this Chevy, it kind of was, because when I got the letter, I got mad at first. But then, and I was angry. But then I turned all that into like motivation, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to find this place. And I think I got so frustrated through the process because where I live, the home values are ridiculous. So I still have to drive a little bit to get out to the shop, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because now it's just an escape from everything that I deal with and that I have to do on a daily. See, Murder, happy Thanksgiving. Just out here talking about my YouTube channel on AuxAuto. Yeah, this Chevy, yeah. Hey, that's my kid. That's Kay. I love her. She helped me a lot too at this place out here. Matter of fact, God, you know, one thing I like about live is I can just ramble about anything, and I'll just keep talking, and nobody's gonna say, "Hey, wait a second." And if they do, I just miss it in the comments, right? But I'm trying to get. Oh, this is I'll have to talk about this. But one of the things that kind of perpetuated this live stuff. That's right, Gina. You can, though. I'll listen to you. My daughter got on her live and was doing these get ready with me makeup tutorials, stuff that girls care about, that, you know, obviously I'm not going to put makeup on. I mean, probably look pretty good if I did. But she was doing this live one time, and I was in it, and I was kind of moderating her stuff. And the next day, she's like, "Hey, I made $10." I was like, "What do you mean you made $10? You were on live for like an hour last night." She goes, "Yeah, I made $10 on it." I was like, "How do you make money on live?" She goes, "I don't know, but it works." I was like, "Okay." And that's kind of when I started getting into it. And I eventually want to be able to pay for an AuxAuto assist doing the things that I'm doing on here. This, not to get too sentimental, but that's me and my dad. And he's still around. But when we were taking this road trip, it was just some back roads to go to a gas station that when I was like 13, we would drive to the gas station to fill up gas, to get gas for the mowers. But we're cruising around in this 1968 Chrysler 300. That was the car that I bought after I couldn't afford to get another Charger. And we're listening to some random local ball game on AM radio. And my dad's big into baseball. He was kind of a standout when he played college and was invited to the Cardinals training camp, but decided he would rather have a family, which worked out pretty good for me because look at me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just kidding. But it was just one of those moments, because I've got the raw footage of all this stuff, and basically the interior video of us is just about 30 minutes of just me and my dad talking about stuff and driving in this old car, which, you know, eventually we're all not going to be here anymore. And I'm always going to have that, which I think is kind of special. I think that's one of the reasons I like doing videos and recording stuff and doing video. I mean, not for promotion stuff, but just having it. You know, back in the day when I was a kid, this guy right here would just record like hours and hours of VHS on the shoulder camera. And at the time, it's just, you know, it's like put the camera down and enjoy the family. But now that I'm an old guy, we can watch those memories that we had, just of hours and hours of just random living life, which is kind of cool. My goodness, I'm getting so philosophical. Oh, this Chevy, man, I tell you what, if there's any way to motivate him to do that, I think the coolest thing about it is it's a way to preserve it. Whenever I go to car shows and I have a minute to try to promote my automotive nonprofit, which is AuxAuto, there's a lot of the elders that, you know, they're not very tech savvy, but they've got grandkids that are. And I really encourage them to make videos of their cars, the stuff they've done with them, the history of them, where they got them, how they obtained it, and all of this stuff. Because eventually somebody else is going to own the cars that we have. It's just fact. Somebody else eventually will own them, unless, you know, something catastrophic happens to them. But how cool would that be just to get it on a form of digital media to where somebody 50 or 60 years from now can learn about the history of it 50 or 60 years prior. I think the genealogy of the cars is also pretty interesting. Speaking of genealogy, this car, the 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner, has quite a bit of documentation with it, and was one of the things that drew me to it. And this was one of also the videos that kind of launched my AuxAuto YouTube channel, which, you know, it's not that big, but going from starting an automotive nonprofit and having 10 subscribers, which are like my other 10 YouTube channels, subscribe to my own AuxAuto, going from 10 to 120 in 2 days because of this video was pretty significant. This is kind of the reason that I decided not to sell this car and hang on to it and go to events and car shows and make videos about it. Yeah, see, Mark, I've missed so many comments because I'm just on here yapping. But it is. And you don't have to pay for storage, because you can have a free YouTube account and upload your videos there. And then they'll be there. Take in pups out. That Nissan back there was an AuxAuto Assist that I tried. It was a failure. You win some, you lose some. You know what I mean? I took it on to try to fix it, and it turned out to be the CVT transmission and a Nissan, and it was way too expensive, and I couldn't afford it at the time. I still can't. But it just didn't work out. But the funny thing is, the person that owned that Nissan was the same person that when I got my kid a new car, we gave her my kid's old car so she could drive it around. And she only really needed it for about a month. And she drove it for 2 weeks. And she got into an accident, ran it off the road, hit a rock. And her mom called me and said, "Hey, they've been into a wreck. What do you want us to do with the car?" Didn't seem like that big of a deal. It's all right. Hey, just tow it to the house. I'll see if I can fix it. They towed it to the house, but the rock was pretty big apparently, because it knocked one of the front wheels back about 1.5 inches. It hit the oil pan, punctured it, drained all the oil out, popped both the airbags, shattered the windshield, and basically rendered the car inoperable. And at first I was like, all right, we gave you this car, and now it's trash. Do I get upset about it? Nah. I'm going to teach you a lesson that I learned from my father, about forgiveness. Things happen. It's okay. You're okay. Now you know the capabilities of a vehicle and you're not injured. So that's fine. But with that story, I've got to tell you this one. Have you ever seen Sandlot? What's up, Brandon in West Virginia? I'm in like storytelling mode tonight. It won't last much longer. I'm going to get off here in a minute. So in Sandlot, the kid takes a baseball from his dad that's signed by Babe Ruth, and they go play with it, and then they hit it over the fence, and it ends up in the yard, with the big mean dog. When I was a younger lad, I swiped a baseball from my dad's closet that was signed by the whatever year the Detroit Tigers were in the World Series. Swiped it, went and played baseball with it. That's what I did. And when my dad found out about it, he's like, okay. And I thought I thought I was just a dead kid. But I learned forgiveness then. And I was like, you're not going to kill me, or I don't know, maybe just severely injure me or nothing like that. And I was like, okay. Duly noted. And that's kind of the same sentiment that I portrayed onto this young lady that wrecked the car that we gave her. And come to find out, it was kind of pivotal for her in the reality of the science of vehicles and crashes and how easy you can slide off the road. But anyway, that's right, John Tech. Forever. All right, Squints. See, Gina, we dadgum talk about real stuff in here, I'll tell you what. One of these days, no, I'm not going to get into that, but you live, you learn, and as we get older, I try to impart those things that I've experienced and I've learned onto other people. That's kind of one of the reasons that I started AuxAuto, because there was a time in my life when I was driving a 2003 Jeep Liberty, raising a kid on my own, and mice chew through the injector wires on my Jeep Liberty, and it ends up costing $450 to fix. And what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? This is before everything got really expensive. So we don't just talk about car stuff in here, we talk about life. Oh, this Chevy, it was bad, yeah. Dad still got the baseball. Rojo, bienvenidos. I got to get this Ford truck done. Oh, we're talking about learning forgiveness and forgiving others. That's what we're talking about. Now, we were earlier. Now we're done. We're done talking about that stuff. That's when I brought the Ford to the shop. Rojo, that's one of those questions where it involves some explanations, but the short answer is yes. But it's a lot different. Ah, man, it's a lot different than what people think it is, and it gets a lot more deep, and it takes a lot more explanation. And in my opinion, it's a lot more real. Because you know what? That's what we're doing here, right? it's kind of one of those things where you meet people who claim something, and then you see how they are in the real world, and it's not the thing that they're claiming to be, and it's really frustrating. So then you kind of break away from that because you feel like there's a different circumstance that you're supposed to live up to, but you live up to that circumstance without the perception of the people that you see that can't uphold it, if that makes any sense. But not to discredit any of them, still accept them, but I feel like sometimes it's like that's not what you're really saying or living, but I get what you're trying to achieve here. It's kind of like it's like claiming you're a car person and you go to a car show, and you go to car shows every weekend on a certain day, on a certain morning. And then somebody else says, oh, I would really like to know about cars. And you're like, oh, well, I go to car shows all the time. Every week I go to car shows. And they're like, well, tell me about cars. And like, well, first of all, you got to get one that looks good, right? Because, you know, that's part of it. It's got to have a good sound system in it, because that's important. And then the person's like, oh, okay. So then they go out and they buy something that they can't afford. And then they've kind of been misled into a direction to where they really are in a situation that they can't get out of. And it's like, well, that's the car people. The point of it is fixing cars, figuring out what your problem is, figuring out how to resolve it, reaching out to people that have been in that situation before and what they did for it, and coming up with your own solutions. And it doesn't have to do with how good your car looks or the sound system that's in it, but the fact that you're relying on people to figure out the problems that you're having with it and solutions to keep it on the road. My goodness, I gotta quit blabbing about this. I don't even know how to spell parable, Gina. I should put more effort into that one because I like relating things to car stuff, but I feel like it's a good way to explain. Most everybody drives cars, right? And sometimes they break down, and they can't afford to fix them, and that's where AuxAuto comes in. My goodness, another time for a plug. AuxAuto and smooth jazz. That's what it's all about here on a Wednesday night. And sometimes when your car's broke down, doesn't run, it's rusty, it's a piece of junk, and everybody just calls it, sell it, get rid of it. You don't need that anymore. You're not worthless. That's what I'm saying. You still have some value. It just takes the right person to put the right time and energy and effort into you, and you become valuable. Do it, Braden. Post it. Appreciate it, Gina. Is it weird watching a video of me watching a video of me? What is this one anyway? Oh, that's the truck. I need to do a there we go. We'll let this video play out, and then I'll get out of here. Okay, John Tack. Hey, we're close. I now know that you're not in Michigan. Is Sharp Fab? That's what I'm thinking of. Gina's in Michigan. You know, I still got family up there, Gina. All of my ancestors. I don't know about ancestors, but my relatives that came here early in the 1850s are all up there in Michigan, but around Detroit or Detroit. It's very French. Well, they weren't French, but Detroit is, but they're German. We're German. Hey, we can all come out to Auxland, huh? Honestly, there's a pretty giant state park right close to where I am. And we all could hang out there. It would be pretty cool. This, oh yeah, this road is like close to where this is where I grew up. Out in the country. Not in Oliver Springs, Sammy. That's right, Gina. This is where there ain't no shoulders out in the country. My mom got pulled over right here at this bridge one time by the sheriff's deputy. She's like, you going a little fast, ain't you? This is the road that I drove to high school. It took me about 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get to high school. Back in the 90s. Sammy, where is Oliver Springs? I gotta look that up. Matter of fact, it took me, from when I left the house, it took me a whole version of John Bonham's drum solo from The Song Remains the Same, which was 15 minutes, about-ish, to get from the house to school. Oh, east. No, this is all Middle Tennessee right here. But I am pretty familiar with East Tennessee. If you're talking about the French Broad River, in Dandridge, Jeff City, Roane County, Marvel. Oh, yeah, Oak Ridge, the Secret City. Oh, I know Clinton. I went to a wedding in Clinton. That's right, Y12, baby. That's where all those, they're fishing the river with 3 eyes. It's all because of Y12. Moore's is back. Which roommate? The one that married my, the girl I was going to marry? Yeah. In college, I had a bar in my room. I built a tiki hut. Oh man, Tack, you talking about Flat Rock Motorsports Park. Dang, Gina, where are you? I don't know where you guys see that, but So, have you, John, have you looked into Flat Rock at all? Like, do you know the, like their rates, I guess? I guess I don't see that. All I see is there's a little badge there that says, "Hey, Jason, you're an idiot." I don't know what that is for. I don't, it just says it there. Yeah, so it's for Flat Rock Motorsports Park. I think it's a $250,000 initial membership, and then it's $15,000 a month. And then the other option is a $500,000 initial membership, and it's like $20,000 a month. Because when I first heard about that place, so back in the day when I used to go around to, my dad would buy lumber from sawmills. He would use a company called Bailey Trucking to haul lumber from those places to a sawmill. Bailey is now a senator, and one day I saw him at Flat Rock while they were breaking ground on it like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, "What is this?" So I started looking into it, and I was like, "Oh, this would be awesome to be a part of this whole thing." Until I realized it's not for my tax bracket, not at all. Flat Rock Motorsports Park. This Chevy is bananas. It's an 800-acre motorsports park in East Tennessee, and it's basically for if you can afford $250,000 initial membership and then $15,000 a month, it's your place. It's your playground. Can't afford that. I thought about trying to do something out in Auxland called like Broken Rock or Broke Rock or something, to where it's kind of similar, but there's no subscription, and people can come drive around a track, a dirt track for that matter. I tried to get hired out there. Every single time that there's a job opening, I apply for it at Flat Rock, because I think that would be pretty neat. You should check it out though, because it is kind of a cool endeavor. And so here's the thing: when I first heard about it and they first created a website, and I went to it and I was like, I want to be a part of this somehow. I don't know how I want to, but I want to do something at this place, because if I'm gonna transition my career into something that has to do with automotive stuff, this is the place. And my shop is a reasonable drive to Flat Rock. And so you have to fill out a questionnaire in order to be accepted to receive a invitation, right? And one of the questions is, do you have access to private aviation? I do not. I am sorry. No. So I learned real quick that it's not only not my cup of tea, it's not even my tea leaf. Now, I mean, not only that, it's not even the seed that I grow the tea with, or the property that I have it. Dang, Gina. I'm talking about like that, like you could make a phone call and spend 60 grand on a flight tonight to somewhere. If you got that, we need to talk. I'm going to fly down here to Tennessee. Yeah, Gina, I can make the phone call, but I don't know if my bank account would appreciate it. Actually, my nephew, I point up because he's a pilot. I technically kind of do have access to private aviation because he's a pilot. So, hey, that's a step there, Gina. If I had unlimited calling, I could talk to the airline company nonstop. That so Flat Rock actually, well, I did contact them because I've applied for a few of those jobs, and I did find out that they do plan on having some events where normal people can go to them, which I thought was pretty cool. Because a lot of the stuff that they do are those cars that nobody can really afford. You know, like the top 1 or 2 percenters. But I think they are planning on having like events where normal people can come race the track and stuff like that. So I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's also it's weird that it's in Tennessee. But I mean, I guess that's good for that county. Yeah, look it up, Flat Rock Motorsports Park. And that's the other thing. Like a lot of the people that run that place, and a lot of people that own it, and a lot of people that do the social media stuff, they're all veterans, and which is kind of weird because just being a veteran alone, you're not going to be able to afford a $200,000 initial fee and $15,000 a month. So you have to have been a veteran that has branched off into some private industry where you can afford that sort of thing. I still like my idea of broke rock. We could put a track on 15 acres. I exceeded my my value for tonight. I'm gonna get some sleep. I appreciate you guys being here. I like how we're building like a community or a network of folks. Obviously, if you're here still, AuxAuto, and you know what it is, I'm not going to give you my spiel, but I'm just out here promoting it. I might come on here tomorrow. Like I said, my parents are up in Michigan, my kids in South Carolina. I might just come on here. Maybe I'll eat a turkey. I don't know, or some chicken. But I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you soon because it would be good for me. And I'm selfish that way because I care about you. Because that's who I am and that's who I care about. The American working person. Zelensky Auto.